I am here to serve and protect.
I'll take these.
You must like to play cards.
I like solitaire, okay? Unless I got someone to play with.
The hoes are laughing?
Yep.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
Yep.
There you go. Look at that bitch smiling. That's how we do it here, baby. Let's get it. MCU'S Bleeding Edge Report. Woohoo! Monday night, 10 p.m. Oh, 10:01 p.m. There you go. Oh, you're doing now. We're doing some Wakanda Forever shit.
No,
all right.
X.
Oh, the X. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever you guys see that, I just think of Chadwick Boseman. But anyways,
yeah,
folks, MCU'S Bleeding Edge Report. So you know it's Monday night. Getting after it live to drop 2 badass recaps. Very informative and very entertaining, I'm sure. One would just be an Andres, The Ones Who Live, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, episode 5. And then in our second back half of the show, on our second segment, we're going to have some guests coming on and whatnot, everything to help us tackle episode 1 of the X-Men 97. The what is it, the 6th season, Andres, of the X-Men animated series?
X-Men 97. This is titled "To Me, My X-Men."
It's the 6th season, right?
Oh yes. This is the 6th
season. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
all right, so but we're going to start with The Walking Dead first.
Yeah.
So Andres, I'll start with you. My first question right off the bat. Oh, and just shout out really quick and whatnot out there to all of you who have been loading up the view count and whatnot here on YouTube and blowing up our Monday live streams. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you very much, and hopefully y'all will enjoy the review that we drop on you right now. Yeah. But so Andres, what'd you think about episode 5? Better than episode 4 or worse?
I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed with this episode. I thought last episode was more fun because it was just Michonne and Rick. Here, this episode, like, I was kind of surprised we were focusing on.
They had to wrap up that Jadis connection. It had to be dealt with.
Yeah, and to be fair though, let's be honest here. Me and Jeff haven't seen the later seasons, and so I wasn't aware that like Jadis had like a relationship with Father Gabriel, which I knew because Father Gabriel was introduced in season 5.
I don't care. It doesn't bother me that I didn't watch all of The Walking Dead.
I'm just saying to the people that
understand. I know. And I'll put it out there right now, just like I always do, like in the chats and whatnot and everything. Like I never hide it. I dropped out of watching The Walking Dead. I was a diehard Walking Dead fan for years, and I used to watch every week. And then I dropped off when the finale was coming from season 7 or whatnot, and they killed Glenn. When I knew that Glenn was going to die, I just couldn't watch that finale. So I stopped watching the show, and then I came back and I would like jump in here and there during seasons here and there and whatnot, and just pick up a couple episodes here and there. We used to have cable just to kind of catch up with what was going on with the characters. But I dropped out around like episode 7, So and we I guess you're right, Andres. It's good to put that out there that like we did. We're not diehard Walking Dead fans, but we do enjoy these spinoff series. And we enjoyed reviewing Rick and Michonne. So the question still remains, is episode 5 better than episode 4? I think it is.
Oh, really? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I like Jadis. I think Jadis is a good character.
Okay.
She's very smart. Seriously, she's very strategic. She's very, very intelligent.
That's true.
Very manipulative, very cunning, right? Very interesting character. And I like the actress that plays her. I like the like at the end of the episode when they played that, that extra footage stuff or whatnot, the behind the scenes stuff. And you got a chance to like talk to the actress a little bit and whatnot, everything. It was really cool. I really liked it. She has a really interesting personality.
Oh, okay. I mean, compared to me, this is like, I think, this is my first time.
I liked her in The Walking Dead too. When she was like running that jump keep place and shit and whatnot, or The Walking Dead or whatever and whatnot and everything. I liked her too. Even though I only saw her a couple times, I never really understood what was going on with that shit. Because that was when I was coming back in to try to watch it,
Yeah.
It was like later on. And I saw her in some episodes running this like jump keep looking like group or whatever, whatnot, at like a junkyard. and shit and whatnot. And she looked interesting, but I don't even know what her deal was, you know? And that was Jadis when she used to go by the name Anne.
Anne.
Yeah.
As you said before, in this episode. Yeah.
You think her hair's bad now? You should have saw her with long hair.
See, okay, let me.
She don't look good with no good. Well, she don't look good with no hair.
Oh yeah. See, I like her her bob cut hair because that that looks more natural. Like it looks like actual hair than whatever her haircut is.
I like her short haircut. I like it actually.
Oh, okay.
I do. She's got that Captain Marvel cut.
Yeah, I'll take this over the Captain Marvel cut. I would say. I mean, I get that that's from the comic books. Her haircut is from.
I mean, I prefer women with long hair. You know what I'm saying? I do in general. You know what I mean? Like Rogue and like Storm and Jean Grey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have short hair, right? Like her like I don't think her short hair looks that bad.
No,
It is funny though, like when Rick made that joke about it and shit and whatnot, everything. It is rough looking a little bit. It is butch looking, right?
Yes, I just love. Thing is, this show is self-aware.
It's a military cut. That's why she has her haircut like that.
Well, here's the thing.
You didn't realize that?
No. I understand what, like I've seen those before. But here's the thing: when you see a woman in the military haircut, it's usually like short, like it's not in that style that she's doing.
They probably changed the codes on all that and whatnot. I mean, the way it used to work was that women's hair had to be it could only be a certain length, right? Like what's it called? The front part of the hair, that part could only be so long, right? Like it's all like uniform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, uniform, like certain inches.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. Just like men's haircut, just like a guy's hair, like in the Navy, you know, like there's only you can only have depending on your position and like what you're doing, right? It's what kind of hair you could have.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just a weird haircut for her. I mean, first off, the military that we're seeing here is not really like how to say they're military, but they're different military because they're more like a fashion military in The Walking Dead. And
I worked at a place one time, whatnot, back when I used to be in mold and water restoration and all that shit. And they had like a facial hair policy and whatnot, and I wore a beard anyway. And like nobody said nothing to me because my beard looked good, so nobody ever bothered me about it. So because I always kept it neat and short and shit and whatnot, you know. They never bothered me about it. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I think
hell yeah. I can't be clean shaven all the time. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, I prefer like scrub, but then that's it. Like I only cut it when it gets a little too like a little too bushy. Then I need to kind of trim it out.
Yeah,
because I have dry skin, and sometimes if I leave it too long,
that's very attractive. Why are you talking about your dry skin and shit and whatnot on our live stream recap of fucking The Walking Dead, the one tool in episode 5, man? Come on now.
First off, we were talking
what does that have to do with Jadis, bitch? Huh? The fuck?
Sir, we're talking about hair.
Folks, what is this shit? Come on now.
No, folks.
You need to tell the Lord of Time to get his shit together.
Oh my god. No. I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about Judas, hair thing. I'm talking about.
So you're gonna answer my question or what? What's the deal with episode 5? Is it better than episode 4 or worse?
I say I thought it was not as
not as good.
Not as good as episode 4 I was talking about because you cut me off a little bit because we were talking about something else.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I say you like this episode more. I don't like this episode because I say
what do you mean you don't like the episode? You say you don't like it?
No. Like
it's a good episode.
Yeah. I'm saying like it's not as a strong episode. Let me rephrase.
Okay.
Like,
it's long. It's a long episode.
Well, I mean, it's kind of.
It was pretty long, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How long was it?
Hold on. I think it's like an hour.
What was it, like 50 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Hold on, I got it here.
45. Become.
45.
It was 45.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, like so far the episodes have been 45 minutes. So far for this first season, which is good.
Well, you know what? It makes sense if you're not as into Jadis as I am, right? Like as a character or whatever, whatnot, based off the little bit we both know about her. You know what I mean? Right? Like it makes sense. Like, you know, since she's so prominent in the show, in the episode, they've done a really great job in Rick and Michonne of really limiting their secondary cast, right? Yet getting a lot of like value out of the people that they have put out there in the episodes, right? Minimal, in a minimal way, like the people in the episode 5, right? The ones that pull the gun on them and shit and all that, and then we see them later on, like 2 in the episode, right? Now, look, they're not like major players in the Walking Dead universe or some shit, right? Or like anybody big or whatever. But like for the time they spent in episode 5 where they were on the screen, they were effective, right?
Yeah.
Like they got value out of those characters, you know, to like add some layers and whatnot and everything to the series and to the episode, right? Add some contrast to the just Rick and Michonne dichotomy, you know, because you got to change things up, right?
Yeah.
It only makes sense in the Walking Dead universe to walk around, like be out like Rick and Michonne are, and bump into other like straggling groups of people, because that's Walking Dead shit. Remember?
Yeah.
That's how it always is.
I mean, they always done that. I mean,
You're always gonna. That's what I'm saying. You're always gonna be coming. You're gonna run into like random groups of people, right?
Oh yeah.
Get like, you know, attacked by fucking walkers or whatever, whatnot, or starving or trying to, you know, steal your shit or something. That's the Walking Dead.
No, I agree. I mean,
but no, think about it. Like in comparison to Dead City, Rick and Michonne has had less moving pieces in terms of their secondary characters, the ones who live. Yeah. They've had less than Dead City had. Yet the ones who live is a much higher level TV series than Dead City was.
Right. No, I mean, well, first they're not dealing. I think personally for me, there's this show and I think Daryl as well. There's not too many storylines that's going on that we have to keep up, because that was the issue with this city, because we're not only following Negan and Maggie's story.
They lost me with the whole like getting energy out of the dead shit. I never could even understand what that was even about. From like, I still don't understand it. They lost me right there.
Well, and then what was so important about it? Because it wasn't like the factor.
I still don't understand it.
See, this show
like that doesn't make the current actor or whatnot a better villain.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously.
Yeah. Well, and actually, this is something I want to talk about.
And who's that blonde-haired asshole bitch? Right? I mean, seriously, they never even told us anything about her. So what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Like, all of a sudden, from what, episode 5, we introduced.
Yeah, they just dropped her in with all with their attitude and shit.
Yeah, I can't remember her
name. Tell him the correct and fucking put him in his place and shit.
Well, and then that was lame, because you thought he was like you thought he was like
he's such a little bitch.
Yeah, and like he wanted Negan to come back, and it's like, oh, okay,
be his buddy and everything. Yeah.
That should have worse villains. Like too many storylines. Also, make the characters making stupid decisions, like any horror film. If you see one, like if you see a character is making stupid decisions, that's where I don't like the thing.
If this was the Sonyverse, they would make a series off of Dead City with the black dude, the bounty hunter guy and whatnot, and make like a spin-off series and whatnot, and spend like $150 million on it. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot for like no reason.
Exactly. It feels more like that. Yeah. It's so true. Oh my god. Dead City, the Sony thing.
That's how like hard it is to try to figure out what the fuck Sony's doing with their shit. It's like in Sony's reality, that could be a TV show.
Hey, I can agree with that.
No, but seriously, the ones who live is high level, and they've really done a great. And I want to know what you think, but they've done a great job. They did a great job of leveraging their secondary characters and positioning the CRM as like a overarching villain and for the show, right? Not just in season 1, but in as many seasons as they want it to go, right? As an overarching villain, they've established that dynamic. It's all there. Now they got Rick and Michonne together, right? And that's all they need, right? Because like when it boils down to it, in terms of like draw with the Walking Dead fandom, you can't get any more draw than like Rick and Michonne.
Yeah, no, I
Anyways,
agree.
go ahead.
No, I agree everything what you say there, sir. Like I agree. The CRM is doing great villains. I think that the show is very consistently high with the storylines. A great secondary characters they use very well.
They did a really good job of establishing a second season.
Yes. Yeah.
But say what you want about episode 5, but it does a really great job setting up the finale and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I like this episode. I don't think it's as strong as the last episode. It's just because I'm not familiar with Judas, the character, but it doesn't mean I hate this episode. It's still a great episode. I still like the commercial and stuff that we have here. It's still wonderful. And it does make me excited for next week, the season finale. And I think they're doing a really great job of like building up the CRM threat, which is good, as you say before, Jeff. And yeah, I think they're in great position. I so far they've been very high compared to like some of the other spin-off shows like Dead City we were talking about, because they have one focus, which is good, is the CRM. And of course, this is a show about Rick and Michonne, and you see them getting back together. Like they're just very organized with their stories in this first season compared to like Dead City, you know. And yeah, and this episode had great action, and I like, you know, the Walker's death. Gio's death was kind of shocking, and you know, but yeah, I fairly enjoyed this episode. I didn't hate it. I just think it wasn't my favorite for this season, but it's still a strong like addition to this first season. So that's my thoughts.
Well, this is from Deadline.com on March 1st in 2024. And this is right off of the first episode, I guess. Sunday night's premiere of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, delivered 3 million viewers after 3 days of viewing, according to Nielsen. That makes it the biggest premiere night audience for the new AMC series in 6 years, since 2018's premiere of The Terror. That episode had a lead-in from The Walking Dead. The episode also performed well on streaming, according to the company. The One Saloon premiere is now the most watched episode of any show ever on AMC Plus. Huh. Look and see if you can find numbers for audience numbers, whatever, whatnot, or anything like that. Stats on the episode 5 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Lived, in terms of how they did on AMC Plus, and in general viewers. I think that in general, when you think about it, episode 5 is a big episode in 6-episode series, because it's that building block episode that leads you into your finale, right? And if you bungle that, remember Secret Invasion, right?
Yeah.
If you bungle that 5th episode, it puts you in a really awkward spot going into the finale, right? It's like with Miss Marvel. I thought Miss Marvel was great, but the 5th episode was a little bit shaky because it got a little woke and shit, right? It did. It got a little wokey, and so I was a little bit, you know. But they bounced back and they kept it real, right? And finished off strong with their finale, which means it wasn't all that great, but it was like halfway decent, because you know how it is with the Disney Plus Marvel finales.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're fucking bad.
Well, it's not that. It's just like they're forced into this really bizarre direction that they were initially doing in the beginning of the season. Like I don't know, you heard this, but like the villains, the Dissens, whatever, were not the main villains that Miss Marvel wanted to do, because they wanted the Damage Control to be the main villains, and so they were forced to do this, you know, those alien things to build up the Marvels because of the Bangle thing. And I mean, I like the Marvels, but one thing I have to say,
I like the Marvels too.
Yeah, I like the Marvels too, but my biggest criticism is the Bangle thing was so like,
it was stupid as shit. I know, it made no fucking sense at all.
Exactly.
Like,
so
why is Darth Ben's Bangle so much powerful or whatever, whatnot, than like what's her name's Amon Milani's fucking Bangle? You know what I'm saying?
Cons.
But even, you know what? If you watch that fucking recording I did with DJ from DGB Productions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we did on the Marvels that I put up in the chat,
Okay.
Right? Like we did a recording on the Marvels and like the state of the current MCU and shit. And while I was in Jamaica, and he hated the Marvels, he thought it was trash. So, whatever, that's his opinion. But the movie had a lot of holes, right? But it was entertaining. It was at least entertaining, and it's interesting. When you think about, I was thinking about it the other day. What if they had just stuck with Captain Marvel 2 and just gone with it as Captain Marvel 2 and not done the Marvels, right? Like, I wonder how it would have done on its own, how Brie would have done on her own, right? If they would have like maybe had Monica in there, or like had Ahmad in there, but like not had the movie actually be the three of them together and all that shit. You see what I'm saying? Like actually let her be the leading character.
Yeah, I agreed, and just in general for me, it's kind of like
because Ahmad Milani like blew her out of the water in the movie.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean
she outacted Brie.
Well, thing is, I mean, Kamala Khan, played by Renata,
yeah,
like was way more relatable. Her story was more engaging than whatever.
She has so much more charisma.
Yeah.
Right.
And
doesn't she?
Yeah, more charisma
and like charm.
Yeah, more charm. She was the Tom Holland really of that movie. Really, like she
fits her character and the personality of her character perfectly. Ahmad does. Brie does not fit like what I'm saying. The character that they have for Brie with Carol Danvers is not like, I don't want to go too far off off course, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I agree with you.
It doesn't work with Brie's strengths.
No, I wish they fixed that. And I think Captain Marvel 2 should have been the movie that they fixed that by losing.
If they would have made it Captain Marvel 2, I think they could have done a lot more with Brie. Because she was a lot better in the Marvels, right? We all agreed on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was much better in that movie. I think here's my thing. Do Captain Marvel 2, leave Monica out of it. I feel like you just have Miss Marvel.
Danny made some good points. He was like, why did they have to be all women, not everything? Why did they have to make Dar Ben a woman, right? Why did they have to have a female director, all female writers, right? Which, I'm the one who said that because I'm the one who knew all that. But yeah, it was an all female made movie, like all acted, all female. Like, I just don't get that shit. And Danny didn't get it either. It makes no sense.
Okay. Okay. I don't want like.
Let's say for like later on with the other guys or whatever. But back to episode 5 of The Ones Who Live, right? All right, so we start off with the flashback, right? Which we both like that, right? You and I both like when they start off the episodes with flashbacks and stuff like that and whatnot. It usually works well. I like it.
Sorry to cut you off. I was happy. One thing I will give this episode actually credit is I was happy they gave us titles of how many years has been like.
That was nice. Yes, it was.
Because that's my issue with the show initially, because they didn't they tell us, but I always prefer you just give me the title in the screen and say, okay, 3 years ago, or whatever.
Sometimes in some situations it's a lot more important than others. I don't mind it with this stuff, with the Walking Dead stuff.
Yeah, but here
that's not really Kirkman's style.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you think about the original Walking Dead, they never used to do that either. They never used to use branded time stamps and stuff like that and whatnot to show time differences during the original series. They never did that either.
Oh, no, not in the beginning.
And there would be time gaps and shit like that and whatnot. Remember, there would be flashbacks and stuff like that and whatnot and all that. And they would never show us how much time had passed. Yeah, that's just Kirkman and like the producers from AMC and whatnot. They prefer to like do it that way. I liked it too. It was nice, a nice change.
No. I like it. I don't mind that, but when you have a really big time jump like they did for the final seasons, that's like 8 years. We know it's been 8 years since Rick left.
Yeah, you're right. It would have been nice if they just would have made that clear right off the bat at least once.
Yeah, once.
Right, like this. It's been 8 years, right? Instead of making us actually have to scramble and shit and whatnot to figure out how long it's been.
Yeah.
Right. Seriously.
It was just crazy, but I appreciate that they did that here, especially with if you were familiar with.
Well, they had to because of the whole dynamic between Jadis and Father Gabriel and that 1 year meeting bullshit.
Yeah.
So they had no choice. It all lined up with their get-togethers.
Yeah, which I like. I actually liked their conversation. Actually, I really like Father Gabriel. He was a very interesting character back in the
Very good writing.
Yeah,
Very good instrument, and very good like move to like add him and that dynamic in there, right?
yeah, and I think that was a really great. Like, I was very happy to see Father Gabriel. That was a really good choice to expand
Yeah.
Jewish character. If you didn't know that, now
That actor's a veteran. He's been acting for a long time. He's solid. He used to be on Oz, remember, on HBO back in the day.
Oh yeah, The Wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in The Wire. I know that. Yeah. He's crazy. He's in like 2 big, HBO shows.
He's always worked. I don't remember him ever not having a job and being on something. Right?
No.
You think about it, right? He never stays out like out of work or whatever, whatnot. Like he's always finds roles and all that.
Yeah. No. Seth William, he's a really good actor. Just very
Oh yeah, he was a good addition to The Walking Dead. What season was it that he came in? What was that? Season 4? 5?
Season 5.
5.
Yeah, and he stayed on. He became a main cast from 8 to the 5th season.
Yeah.
So I was very happy to see him here because I was kind of shocked that they brought him here, but it made sense because
he humanized Jadis, and that made it more difficult when they fought at the end and whatnot, everything, and they had to kill Jadis and all that shit and whatnot, and she got bit. It humanizing her made the final fight, right, more like emotional, and like more intense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it also raised the stakes for Rick and Michonne, for either they wanted to move forward the plan of taking the CRM, and it made Michonne.
I liked watching their reactions to having to kill her and all that and whatnot. Like how Michonne was adamant that Jadis had to die, but yet she had to turn her head when Rick shot her, right? And Michonne doesn't usually have to turn her head when a human being gets killed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And Rick had to turn his head when he shot her too. He couldn't look at her.
No. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, because remember,
because it connected because of the ring and the ring thing on the necklace that connects to those time the flashbacks and the 1 year get-togethers, and that's how it humanizes her. And that's how connecting it all together, right? As like a tool, it works so well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was shocked that he was holding that ring.
That actress did a really good job. Her lines there when she was at the end, when she was dying and shit and whatnot, were really well done.
Yeah, that's the other thing. She really did a good job performing her last appearance as the character.
Hell yeah!
And
if they did an award where they gave out an award just for somebody who did a really great episode on a TV series, right? Like that's it. Just they they just killed it on that one episode. She should be in the running for that shit for this year. I'm serious. Yeah. She made episode 5 really good for me. She did.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I agree.
And she helped continue the season and make it last longer, right? So there could be season 2 and season 3 and shit and whatnot by having so much adding so much value to the series. She really did.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she's the first, she's the only character of the Walking Dead franchise that has been in 3 different shows. That's something that I need to bring up because that's very impressive. You do see a character evolution since her appearance in The Walking Dead. Because I was looking at the Screen Crush, them recapping this episode to kind of see.
That's right. Just like I'm the only YouTuber who's ever been to 3 different Asian massage parlors in 3 different states in the same day. That's right, baby.
Not the She-Hulk.
No, not the She-Hulk Savage massage. No. After my last visit to the She-Hulk massage and spa, I need to take a break from Savage She-Hulk spa.
I'm surprised he didn't have a Captain Marvel spa.
There you go, Andres. I'm gonna make you an appointment.
No, thank you. I have one for Gotham City. So.
Anyway, but Father Gabriel really humanized Jadis, and I like how compartmentalized episode 5 was within the series, right? How it really took very little time away from the overall real time of the series, right? Of Rick and Michonne's reality right now with what's going on with the CRM and all that. Everything went pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
But yet it was still 45 minutes long. It was still high level, right? Even though it was an episode that was sort of suppositional, because it had to be the episode to allow Rick and Michonne to finally come to an agreement, like 100%, both of them, that they had to go back to the CRM, together, right? Episode 4 did not accomplish that. It just brought them back together and brought them back to Alexandria.
Yeah.
Now Michonne actually wants to fight the CRM like Rick did.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, the show has done a really good job of developing that very well. And that's the thing I want to bring up. Like, the pacing has been very good. Nothing has been like off the chart. With
how did you like how they connected, how they treated those people with the guns and all that shit and whatnot, the way they did, and then with then Michonne at the end decided that they have to go back to the CRM and all that shit and whatnot. Did you get the connection until I just mentioned it? Did you think about it?
I think
it proves who they are. That like when they are together, like Jada said, they're capable of anything. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, and like no matter what, they can't turn their backs to other people.
Well, to be fair,
right?
Though, actually, to be fair though, she said that from her reappearance in episode 3 when she was talking to Rick, and how if Michonne is here with you, you guys are
I know it's all built up to this and whatnot and everything, right? So it's interesting how they used those people with the guns and whatnot and everything in that scene. It connects overall to like to the overall episode at the end.
No, I agree. This show examples of that, but besides this episode, I'm saying last episode when they had to get out from the the building, they now officially like connect, and they now work
because Jadis was trying to talk all that shit about like I'm the hero, like what I'm saying, I saved your, still talking about that I saved your life shit, talking about like you're the selfish people, right? Like you're the whatever, right? Like you're the you're not the team, you're not team players, like all you care about is yourself and all that shit. That was all bullshit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, then also like because she thought she owned Rick, like she was able to control.
Well,
Rick.
they're all trying to survive, but like Michonne already said it already and whatnot. Everything like when she was pretending to be that other person with the CRM.
Yeah.
When she sees somebody like defenseless, be like in trouble, she has to help.
No.
Right? Remember when she said that?
No. I remember. Yeah, that's
it. All connects.
Yeah, I mean it's consistent from their characters since day one of The Walking Dead. Like
they did a really great. You mentioned the pacing. How they started off was very intriguing because you start off with Father Gabriel, and you hear the helicopter, right? Or helicopters. You can't tell if it's more than one, right?
Yeah.
Like and like just the helicopters, just the sound of them. What does it make you think of?
The CRM.
The CRM, right? So like off the bat, you get like that intrigue, like that secret invasion. They wanted it, secret invasion, that Captain America Winter Soldier, that like intrigue, right? You know what I'm saying? Of the CRM, on top of like the fact that you brought back Father Gabriel from the original show out of into the shit too, right? Like seriously. So like, but you get that, and then you get like a really great opening scene with Rick and Michonne where they find all that food and shit, and they're all happy and kissing and shit and whatnot and all that, right? It's like all happy, positive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're seeing them back together as a couple. You're seeing Rick now finally accepting to want to go back to Alexandra, the community. Like I really like that scene. And you see them having fun when they got. The funniest part was the joke with the noodles bag. It was like,
I thought the car ran out of gas or something or whatnot and everything when they were out walking and they bumped into those people, right, to help them with all that shit and whatnot.
And they beat them.
I thought they literally. I wrote down in my stupid notebook that they must have ran out of gas because all of a sudden now they're walking to like this like building or whatnot. I didn't realize they just parked and just like were walking or whatever, right? I was shocked when they got back in the car later. I was like, oh, they still have the car?
Yeah. Yeah, it was so weird. I had the same thought.
I don't understand what the hell was going on with that shit. I'm like, where'd the car go?
I don't know. I think they just made this excuse. We need something like an action scene. It's like, okay, let's have these random strangers come out in this, natural park, and then we see Michonne and Rick be badass, and like you see Rick doing his, his classic, like Clint Eastwood gun, which was so great to see that again.
I would have made that. I would have made that that hot looking needs a bath chick or whatnot from that group. I would have fucking made her fucking play with my Cheeto or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She looked good. hey, attractive women are hard to come by in the zombie apocalypse, baby.
Yeah, conveniently. It's like conveniently they're still there. Like I always laugh so hard when they're the good guys, and then you get the bad ones that look very, like just sanitized and all that. And it's like, oh yeah, you're the bad guy.
Kind of. I mean, yeah.
Kind of. They
didn't look that dirty.
Well,
maybe they were rubbing dirt on themselves on purpose to try to play, hustle, trying to hustle and shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm thinking more like the Whisperers, right? The Whisperers had that because they were trying to be the walkers, and they were like covered in blood and all that, whatnot. That was very funny. The fact that we're robbing them, and then of course 2 minutes they get their butts kicked by those two, which was so fun. I was surprised we saw them again. Actually, that was really cool to see how Jay just came to them and asked them to not ask them, get them to be involved and try to stop Rick and Michonne, and that was her downfall, because the two walkers that bit JS was those two people from that hustler.
Oh, geez, well, all the way to the end. I was trying to kind of go through the episode a little bit and whatnot. God damn.
No. I'm just bringing up the connection of these three people.
Oh, okay. Is that who that was? That bidder was one of those people?
Yeah, they were the walkers. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The connection. It's funny. These three people are like secondary characters, but they become more important into the end of the episode when we get into that. So. It's very funny to see that, but that's a really good storytelling from the show. Like, they are doing a good job of what I consider important to the storytelling is payoff. Paying off a early thing from a episode or something like that that's going to be important towards the end. So last episode, the Rupa, that machine, that was very important to what was going on with that episode, and this is same thing. It's just different. So yeah, this show is such a good job with the commanding of the storytelling,
Yeah, I fought with the Whisperers for a while and whatnot, everything, but I wasn't a good fit with that because I talk too loud. So you know what I'm saying? I was no good as a whisperer.
And also, I'm not gonna, I mean, if you want to be a whisperer, I have a question.
I smiled too much. So Kelly didn't like it, so
I mean,
they were like, "No,
please." The walkers are not.
You can't smile a lot when you're a whisperer.
Yeah, the walkers are not gonna.
You gotta be very stoic.
Yeah, stoic. That was really funny. That comment. I'm like, come on. It's just old Jeff. Yeah.
Oh, Kelly on that show about my smile or whatnot, stop smiling at me or whatever. That shit was hilarious.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was very funny.
It's like you're behind a screen. I'm not staring at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny night. That was in the What If, right? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah.
No, they did a good job of keeping it very contained. It was a very grounded episode. Damn, if not, adding Father Gabriel just added such a great dynamic,
Yeah, Yeah.
Allowing them to add a character to the show, right? That they don't have to worry about keeping around, you know what I'm saying, or have to worry about his storyline or like tying up some other thread, right? On top of like, you know, keeping things in the space between Brick and Michonne, you know what I mean, whatnot, and the you know, the secondary characters they already have added that are still around, that, you know, that are kind of enough.
Yeah.
They brought somebody in where he's a one and done. You know, we don't have to see him again now, right?
No.
He served his purpose. So that was Kirkman, I believe. He made that move to bring him in.
Oh, really?
Okay. I do. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? With that, I'm just assuming that like probably that was Kirkman and like they worked it out. You know, I mean, we don't know. I mean, unless I'm missing anything, or unless somebody in the that's with us right now that's watching the live, unless you know more than we know, I haven't really paid attention that much to the interviews that Andrew Lincoln, right, and Danny Guerrera have been doing and whatnot. Everything talking about the show, so I haven't really paid attention to that stuff. I don't know. We don't know what the final responsibilities have been with the production, right? We know that they're both involved in like the creation of the series. We know that, like, for instance, that like Danny wrote episode 4, right? But like at the same time, though, you have to assume that Kirkman is like the main guy, right? Just like he was from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, well, I think everyone from the previous show, like Scott Gimple, is here.
Yeah.
I know because
Gimple, yeah.
Because remember, he probably like got the character, like he brought the character in that season.
You're right. No, I'm not. It's not Kirkman. It's Gimple. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's Gimple.
Yeah. I think it's definitely Gimple's decision.
Kirkman's the one that started that created The Walking Dead and first started the Walking Dead show series, but like he's not even involved, really, is he? He's just a name on The Ones Who Live.
Yeah, he's kind of like associate with name because remember he just
created, he's not involved anymore. No. Yeah. No, I'm glad you pointed that out. You went Iceman on us, Andres. Folks, Andres, the pop culture guy, has gone Iceman.
Well, you became Iceman too.
I went Iceman? I went Iceman too?
Yeah, just now.
Oh, man. I didn't even realize. Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't because you were Iceman that you saw me as Iceman?
Or maybe we're having our mutant powers now. Like,
anyways, so what do you think? Honestly, the one YouTuber that I really like that I follow for all my Walking Dead stuff, he keeps mentioning these teaser trailers. I guess what he's talking about is those little clips they show at the end of the episodes.
Yeah, it's those ones.
It's so quick, right? Like what they showed there for episode 6.
Yeah, so like the glimpses, they're going to this facility. I don't know, is the facility the facility that we've been for the
the one they're gonna go to the place where Jadis's room is and whatnot, so they can destroy the documents.
Yeah, that's where we're probably going to be for next and the season finale. And
I couldn't keep track with her words and whatnot. I tried to write down the name of the facility, but it had a weird name.
Yeah, I could pull it out right now. I have
that will be where they're probably going to be going.
Those are, I think, if I remember correctly, it was like.
Do you think that Rick will get back to serious question? Do you think that there'll be time in episode 6 for him to even go back to the CRM to have Beale give him the echelon briefing and all that shit and whatnot, or do you think they'll do that in season 2?
We saw the general in that it was a very quick shot from the preview for the next episode. I think it will happen in the beginning of the episode. I think I'm a little because okay.
Well, no, because where they're going, where they have to go to find to destroy Jadis's stuff and whatnot, everything is at one of the other bases. It's not it's not over by the main base over by Philadelphia. Yeah. That's where Beale is. He would be over.
Yeah, that's the thing that was weird about the clip, because I saw him there and he was talking to someone, either Rick or someone else. And I just want to bring up that Pearl was also in that preview, and I was kind of curious. Okay, is she in that facility or back home, like back to the other facility where we've been with the first 2 episodes? I will agree with you. It'll probably be for season 2, that clip for the general. It's just weird how they edited it.
I want to figure out how the fuck they're going to go to some other CRM facility, right, where Jadis lives or whatever. Like when the last time that they were with the CRM, they were in that helicopter, and then Michonne like grabbed them to jump out.
Okay, that I actually have an explanation because they told us. So Rick told Michonne, like, because towards the end of the episode we saw a helicopter coming over to that smoke, and that was probably Rick. So Rick is gonna go first to like, confirm he's alive and then go back, and he probably would go near to that like facility where Jadis was at. Like I think that's how it's gonna happen, because we left the episode where we saw another helicopter from the CRM heading to the smoke that's been like building to the forest where Rick and Michonne are at, and I think that's how Rick is going to go to that facility, and Michonne will probably be with her as well, saying that we're both survivors, and it's a good cover up story because at this point they don't know where is Jadis at. I mean, like I don't know, I think that's how we're going to pick up from this episode to next episode, how they're going to go to that facility.
Well, listen, since we're about to jump over to X-Men, folks, and X-Men 97, we've got already Mike. We're waiting on one other guest to come on and without everything. But before we get there, why don't we go ahead and rate episode 5 quick? Right? Yeah. And then I'll go ahead and play a clip or or a trailer or whatever, whatnot, and give us a break and whatnot before we start X-Men. You start. Let's do 1 through 5s instead of 1 through 10s on this episode. What's your 1 through 5?
I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think it was very good. It was very strong. I think, it's not my favorite episode, but it's still a consistent, strong episode for this season.
I'll give it a 4.25. I think a 4 is a pretty good strong number. I'll give it a 4.25. I thought it was pretty solid. It's just as good as episode 4. I think, honestly, I think I would look at them like as sort of at the same level, kind of, right? Different episodes, but of the same caliber.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, so here, you know what? Well, let me go ahead and play a little clip for y'all so we can take a little break for a minute. And Andres, if you need to go to the bathroom or get a drink or whatever, sir, go ahead.
All right. Thank you.
No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I watched Clone Wars, but I mean, I fell asleep a couple times at night on an episode here or there. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so that's why you call him Huang instead of Huang, like everyone else.
Hey, listen, I've caught up hella on Star Wars. Like, compared to where my knowledge is at, like 6 months ago, compared to where I'm at now, I'm way beyond anywhere I was ever at. So, like, I'm quite proud of my Star Wars. Like, I'm selling people on Star Wars now. On my own with my Huang shit.
Huang.
I'm probably gonna get like a strike from YouTube for like a racial slur now or some shit like that.
Check.
Yeah.
Huang.
All right. So how do I pronounce it again, Jasmine? Is it? Am I sounding it? Is it Juan?
Does the Android have a nickname? Like, it can be easy for us to say it.
Wang.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. Oh, my bad, folks. Oh my god! Even I fell the fuck out there for a minute. Oh yes. There you go, guys. What's up? Hey, what's up, Mike? What's up, Nick?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Hey, I'm glad you guys are here. Sorry about the hold up there and whatnot. I didn't mean to stick you guys in the penalty box or whatever whatnot outside of StreamYard. But
worries,
folks.
Okay.
Guys, Mike, Nick, whoever wants to speak for you guys as a team or whatever whatnot. Real quick, please tell the audience, where y'all are from and whatnot, everything, right? and you know, and why you're here to, you know, knock out this X-Men 97 episode 1 review. Like, what's the scoop?
Go ahead, Nick.
Well, like usually we have not discussed this in advance, but I'll take it from here. Mike are a couple of writers for a website called Sif Pop, pop culture website. We got together about 6 months ago now, and we've been doing a live, not a live, but a rewatch podcast for TV shows and movies mostly. We've done Star Trek, Marvel, Star Wars, so you know, all the fun, nerdy pop culture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And are you guys like super fucking jacked, stoked to like review X-Men animated 97 episode 1 or what?
I've been super looking forward to X-Men. Yeah.
Been very excited about talking about it because not a lot of people in my friends group have watched it yet. So I'm excited to talk with people about this. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. All right. Well, you know what, Andres, guys, meet Andres, the pop culture guy. He's my special guest co-host on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge Report. The MCU'S Bleeding Edge Report, of course, folks, is our titled Monday show out of our 3 weekly shows every week.
Yep.
And it's probably my most soberest show. Although Shogun's really been like sobering me up a lot. It's been hard to like get hammered and get fucked up when like you're reviewing Shogun just because it's so high level, right? Mm-hmm. It's got that House of a Dragon, you know, type fucking shit going on. To where it's like so high level, it's hard to like maintain your focus on trying to get buzzed. You know, so it's both profound and also kind of like a cock block when it comes to trying to get fucked up. But anyways, guys, all right. So X-Men animated episode 1 of season 6. What is it, Andreas? What's the actual episode count on this one? Can you look it up real quick?
Count? What do you mean?
Like what episode actually is it and whatnot? It's episode 1 of X-Men 97.
Hold on, let me check this.
Mike, let me ask you first. First of all, welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. And secondly, overall, the first episode was 35 minutes long. You know, I guess. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andres.
I'm sorry to cut you off. It's if you want to consider season 6, this is episode 77. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. What I was just going to ask you was, overall, when you got done watching the episode for the first time, right at the end, you know, at that moment in the movie theater when you kind of compressed it after the theater, after the film and all that, what were your overall thoughts as far as like, you know, in general? Take as much time as you want on the episode.
So overall, I love the way that this sets everything up and the way that it introduces everything. It doesn't feel like this has missed a beat at all from the original show. And that's something that I was nervous about from the MCU taking this over, was that it was going to feel drastically different. And somehow the MCU has nailed the tone of this and also nailed the 90s of it as well, with some of the great puns, some of the great jokes as well. They still nail a lot of the things that I love about the original series, which for that to happen in the first episode and for there not to be anything where it caused me really to worry. I was really excited and really happy about that. And it all starts with the opening credit sequence. I was a little nervous and I was wondering if they were going to keep it the way that it was. And they made some really great changes with it. Like, finally, let's give Morph his own title card. Let's finally do that, because they never did that with the original one. And I don't understand why. Well, like, I get it because he goes away for a little while, but the fact that he finally gave him, and they also gave Bishop one, and they rearranged it a little bit so that some of them are in different orders. And I really appreciated everything about that. I'm not gonna lie, I got like choked up in a good way because of this, because there was a time when that theme song was my alarm clock ringtone.
Mike, I've got it. I'll play it.
Yeah,
I'll play it real quick. Let me just make sure I have the right clip. If I miss it.
That to me is just the epitome of just if it isn't broke, don't fix it, Or
They
like,
should just prescribe this to motherfuckers instead of
let it be.
Cialis and all that
Let it
shit.
be.
What not Viagra? Just give them this,
right.
right?
There you go.
Just give them one. Just give them like take 2 a day of the S-Men animated intro, and you're good to go.
Good to go. Yep, absolutely.
That and Jubilee with their sparkly shits and whatnot, and everything. But anyways, no. So same question to you, Nick. Your thoughts when you took in the first episode of what is what the first animated S-Men episode of what, over 30 years or some shit?
My first thought was, holy crap, they finally are giving Cyclops the justice that he deserves. Like,
he was fighting motherfuckers.
He was using his powers in cool new ways. He was leading the team, and I love how they somehow managed to toe that line of making him look cool, and yet he still sounds like a dorky dad. So it's like the perfect combination. They didn't like chicken out and be like, oh, we have to change his entire personality so that people will like him. They felt confident in letting him be him, but they were like, oh, but also we can make him look super cool at the same time.
Well, Cyclops is a big dude. You'd think he'd be able to throw hands, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? In the comics, he throws hands too, you know? I remember that he does. Like, you know, like he's a big dude. Right? So, you know, like you think he'd be able to throw hands.
Hope. I'm super hopeful that this is the MCU's way of saying, hey guys, we know that Cyclops is really cool and he's been kind of done dirty in the past. But when it comes to this show and eventually live action, he's going to be the character that everybody loves. He's going to be the a la Tony Stark-esque character of the X-Men that you're going to super cry hard when he eventually dies in 20 years.
We'll see. Andre's the pop culture guy. Same question to you, sir. Your overall take the first time you took in episode 1 of the S-Men 97.
Okay, yeah. So I just want to preface this. The X-Men is one of my personal favorite superhero teams in comics in general. They're the most relatable superhero teams for me. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, you're gay or like a minority like myself as a Latino. I always relate to them, and that was always the reason I always loved them. And you know, I remember the 92 show, in reruns. 2 years ago, I was able to rewatch this full show completely, because I had to do like a project or something for my channel, and it was so refreshing to see the memes that all of us know from the picture of Jean and Scott, and then of course Morph. This one's for you, Morph.
This one's for you, Morph.
So it was fun to rewatch the first 3 seasons. I got to, and yeah, and then when I heard the show was gonna come, I was like, oh, okay, I understand. I was a little worried too. Like for me, it's like I always want something new for a characters like Batman. We always have a different version of Batman. We're gonna like Batman the animated series because that's gonna be the definitive version. And same thing with X-Men. Like, but how could they can pull off this beloved definitive version of X-Men? And they nailed it so completely with the first one, with this first 2 episodes that got released.
We're talking about episode 1, sir.
Yeah, I know that. I know the audience are going to be confused why you're talking about episode 1. I get it. We're talking about it. I seen the first episode. So anyway, yeah, what about it? They handled the prejudice themes, the moral of what X-Men is about so well, because recently we have been this issue of cancel culture, which I don't like to talk about. I don't want you guys to feel discomfortable, and I was kind of worried how those people react. But this show just gives you what the X-Men stands for as a superhero team. They're here to defend, those that are discriminated, by the humans, and they did it so well. And plus the characters, like they give spotlight to every character.
I thought they were just there to have like really hot chicks that are all really tall with really long hair and like triple D breasts and like big fat like asses and whatnot, everything. And like in the comics in the 90s, where all that like Rogue, Storm, Jean, Cyclops, all of them were like fucking straight jacked, like Instagram model hot. Yeah, in the comics.
I mean, you had to thank John Byrne, Jim Lee for that. for those designs.
Seriously.
I mean, hey, they did a good job with that. Yeah. I was so happy how they did it, especially like I was so happy to see my favorite character Gambit represented, because I mean I'm just shocked the live action films. I mean, he was in Origins Wolverine, but like he is in none of the X-Men films, which shocked me. It was so refreshing to see Gambit in full force. Rogue as well. You know, I'm a huge fan of Rogue, and it was so refreshing to see the comic book accurate Rogue was great. Same thing with Storm. It was so refreshing to see Cyclops as the leader, doing his thing. I mean, when he did the Captain America, no.
I know. Yeah, the landing or whatever, whatnot. That shit was crazy.
I was like, oh my god, they did it, and it was so badass. And then when he said to me, my X-Men, that killed me. I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, they nailed that superhero landing.
Mike called that shit already, though, like with Cyclops. Like, seriously, like, honestly, I got to give hats off to Marvel Studios, because I've never seen Cyclops do anything like that before, ever. Right? And again, I probably read more X-Men comics, like, other than Spider-Man, than probably any other kind of comic book that I've ever read. Right? So, like, I've read a lot of X-Men comics. I've never seen Cyclops do anything like that in the comic book before, ever. I've never seen him jump out of a plane or whatever, whatnot, without a parachute or some shit, or use his optic blast to actually have something to do with like what Miss Marvel can do with her powers, sort of, right? Where she can like almost kind of like use it to to move, right? Yeah. or to go up things or down things or slow down her free fall.
It's actually more functional than it has been before. It's not just a way just to blast people into oblivion. It's used to move around. It's used to be nimble. Well, it's used to get out of the way, and that's really cool.
They really did a really great job too of I think that they did a great job with Cyclops, Mike, of trying to have his character and his control over the optic blasts, right, which shows all the maturity. You see the picture of the original X-Men in the original X-Men uniforms, right, when Jean and Scott are talking in the episode about, I think, when she wants to leave, right? You see the original X-Men picture, and it's a picture of them almost from the comics from like the back in the day, right? Like when with those the yellow outfits and shit and whatnot, right? And my point is just that basically it took Cyclops time in the comics to like get control of his optic blast to that degree, right? Like there was a wild card there for a long time. So I think it shows the maturity of the fact that this is season 6 of the show. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, not you. I said Mike, motherfucker, not you, Andres.
Well, I didn't finish.
Since when did your name start with an M? I'm switching over. I'm trying. It's equal time over here, baby. What's up? Wow. You get a chance. I'll come around to you in a minute.
Oh yeah, discriminating me.
I got you in a minute, sir. Don't worry, Mike. What do you think? What did you think of the evolution of X-Men 97 from you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. And that's what I was saying before, is that it felt like this did not feel like a reboot. It felt like a continuation. And that's something that you see a lot with a lot of the characters that we still have Wolverine having lingering feelings for Jean. We see Jean and Scott getting ready to be parents. And I think that's going to be one of the more interesting storylines for this season, is this whole thing with them going into parenthood and trying to decide whether or not they're going to be, part of this team, because it's going to be dangerous what they're doing, and they have to think of things differently. And as a parent myself, that's something that you definitely need to start thinking about a lot. So I think that's really cool progression is there with everything there. A lot of the other characters, they don't get as much to do, but it's just good to see them around. And I think one of the things that I like the most is that Jubilee gets a little bit more to do. She's not somebody who's just like, oh, you have to just be off to the side and you just do nothing for this episode. You just sit back and learn. No, she's that's a good point, because you never know what could happen in the next couple episode arc. She could become all of a sudden, like you said, like on the sideline. Yeah. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jubilee's inclusion in this one was good because it both paid homage to the fact that she was that character and now Sunspot is taking over that role. So they gave her like the, hey, I know exactly what you're going through because if you recall watching the show 30 years ago, I was the one in this position. And I loved watching her dance in the nightclub using her powers to.
Yeah, I know it was
do
good. Yeah,
really good stuff.
It was good. I like to see her dance too. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Honestly, for me, the big standout is Cyclops, but I really loved just the way that they worked as a team in that final battle. Like they weren't by themselves fighting; they were all interacting. And then when Storm comes in, that she's got MVP status. That giant tornado turning the sand into glass and just shredding the Sentinels. She's freaking amazing in this show. And not to jump ahead, I'm looking forward to where they go with her character.
Oh, that's okay.
Forward in the series.
When we review we do episode reviews on our Monday show. We use a format where, although I moderate, right, the board's wide open. So, like, I don't do a scene by scene on these episode reviews, you know? And at that point, you can talk about any juncture you want of the episode. I'm sorry I didn't give you that heads up.
Yeah, no worries.
Right? Okay. But, no, any part of it is wide open. You know, like, my questions, as we review this, are just going to be based around certain elements of the episode. And from there, y'all can just, connect, what you want to what you want. But, Nick, was it the intro, the animation, and I'll take this will go to you next, Andres, and then over to you, Mike. The animation, right? Big changes. Good, bad. What do you think?
I like the animation a lot. It's weird because it's like my brain is like having that weird like that uncanny valley effect where I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is so much like the thing that I grew up with, and yet it's so completely different at the same time. But they're doing things with the animation that they never could have done in the 90s. And it's so impressive how they've managed to still stay true to that original look and feel, but also update and modernize it. I really, really liked how a lot of the characters look, and it really impressed me with some of like the background motions. Like there are layers now. It's so clearly done on a computer as opposed to being hand drawn, and it's super cool that it's just a minor scene, but like when they're in the prison interrogating Gyrick, just the way that it transitions with Jean and the way that her powers look, and like there's like a depth to it that it almost looked 3D at one point, and it was just really cool because you just don't see that anymore. Like it looks both hand drawn and done modern. It blew me away.
Andre's a pop culture guy. The animation.
Yeah, I love the animation. Not only is faithful to the what it looks like. I completely agree. This is the question: is what if the '92 show had a big budget and how it could look like now? And that's what they accomplished here with the first episode, which is very impressive. I mean, it's very clean. It's not rough like the '92, which I'm not gonna blame them, because they didn't have the budget they deserved. I brought up Batman animated series. You look at that; that's like a polished, animation show back in 1992. This was just impressive, and the power set, everyone's powers was so cool to see in this now updated version, which was so impressive. Like I agree with Nick. Seeing the astral, projection of Jean, reading the mind of, Guy Rich was like really impressive. Remind me of Legion, the TV show live action. And it was also refreshing. Too, moving a little bit forward, with the animation, I like how they stick with the 90s, the style. Like when we get to reintroduce Gambit and Rogue, they're doing the the cut shirts thing, like
mid-drift type of thing. Yeah,
it was so cool how they like nailed that to the T, which was great. So like the averaging was just so clean, and I agree with Nick here. It was kind of it wasn't that. It was also the voice actors. You know, them. You know, we got the ritual returning, but it was a little hard to like get just to it. But we watching it again, it got better because I was enjoying it because of the story that they were telling. But yeah, I love the animation, the title sequence. Oh my god, when we got to Morph and his own the title sequence, I was like, yes, thank you, you gave Morph his due, which was so great. And that's the Morph's shape-shifting abilities was so awesome. The animation of him changing into the mutants that we know from the X-Men, like his transition into the Blob, him turning into Archangel. It was so seamless. It was like, oh my god, this is why I love shifting. This is how you could do it. You know, of course, we saw that in Mystique and the live action films, but it's refreshing to see with another person, besides Mystique. So yeah, I just love the title sequence and the animation overall.
Okay, Mike, same question to you, sir.
So everything has been largely said. I think the one other thing that I'll kind of throw out there as well, and Nick kind of mentioned this a little bit, were the action sequences. If you go back and look at some of these old X-Men episodes, the action in them is very one note. It's very, you go, I go type of thing. Now, though, you have kind of like what Nick was talking about. They're not only working as a team, but they're doing some really cool and unique things. And they're doing things at the same time, which you didn't get very often in the old animated series. So you can tell that the animation has, gone up a level just from the action sequences alone. That Sentinel fight, and even just, the way that the Blackbird just blew up, and they're diving down and like everybody's catching them, like rogues catching Beast and Bishop, and Morph, like what Andres was talking about with Morph turning into Archangel. Just the animation just feels a lot crisper, and it feels, Nick was right. It feels both modern and it feels familiar as well. And that had to be, I hope, a priority for them to do that, because that's how they're going to draw new viewers in, but that's how they're going to draw us fans who were fans of the show before, who were maybe very skeptical of this, and make sure that they nail that.
I think they're definitely nailing it on the new viewership side of things. All three of my kids have watched both episodes now at least 3 times. Like, I keep walking in on them watching the show, and they're between 5 and 11. And the fact that they're nailing 3 different age ranges is super impressive, because I've sat them down in front of the old show and they were like hot or cold on it. My youngest really likes it, but the other 2 not as much. This one, it's getting all 3 of them. So like, they've got magic here if they can hold on to this moving forward. My middle is constantly complaining that there's no that she has to wait for the 3rd episode. She's like, I need to know what happens now. We're just not getting it yet. And I'm like, it's 2 more days.
Yeah, Disney was smart to spread this out a little bit instead of dropping them all at once. So I'm glad that they decided to do that instead of, what they did with Echo. It was like, here's all of these at once.
That did not help Echo.
It didn't help it keep it in the conversation. No. Although I think I might have gotten really pissed off if I had to wait week to week on that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that as far as the week-to-week part goes, again, to stay traditional and whatnot, and with what mirrors the original show, you'd hope they would almost, right? And at the same time, too, I like to wait. Just like I didn't want to, cover both the episodes in one shot, right? Just because it's a lot to talk about, and the X-Men are fun to talk about, right? I don't know what y'all think, but as like a next question, I guess, for you, Andres, I don't know about you, but like my thoughts are, right, like seeing this first episode getting out of the way, right, having this be a real thing, this that bringing back the X-Men animated series, that was having the X-Men again in some tangible form, besides the comics. it makes me think about how this kind of is going to spur them to, you know, almost quicken or hasten them doing the live action X-Men in the MCU, right? That and the need, right, for the brand.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're already seeing that since Doctor Strange 2. Like the fact that they're using the X-Men, the X-Men animated series theme as their theme. Because let's remember, folks, the Avengers themes have the Alan Silvestri theme, and sometimes some of the franchise of the MCU don't have consistent themes, but the X-Men has a great theme from this show, and they are using it. It was fun when they did it again in Miss Marvel in the season finale. I was like, oh my god, that was cool. They did that, you know, because they confirmed her to be a mutant, and so I'm very curious they're gonna bring that up again in Deadpool Wolverine. Imagine that, and that would be like, oh my god. So this show is the template for the MCU to like make their version of the X-Men, because this is the definitive version of the X-Men. This is what people knew about the X-Men, this show. So I think that's what they're trying to do here to like this. It's kind of like how Batman the Animated Series was for the generation when we had the Tim Burton films. Batman the Animated Series was the one that got people to get into Batman because it was reaching a wider audience. So this show is doing that, and I'm happy to hear that, Nick, that it's covering the three generation. I mean, first off, this show is doing everything right. The soap opera, the action, and the storylines is just perfect. So I think they're in a good spot, Jeff, moving forward in the MCU.
Okay, I'll switch it up, and I won't go to you first, Mike. I'll go to you first, Nick, and then to you, Mike. What do you think? Do you think that the X-Men animated series, maybe like for you personally or in general, is some kind of a premonition, right? That like, you know, that in reality we are close to maybe finally getting the live action X-Men in the MCU?
Absolutely. Based on how popular it seems to be already, my internet feeds are all about X-Men right now. So it seems to be really getting people excited for it. Casting rumors flying rampantly that we might get a Henry Cavill Cyclops is making me excited. So like I can't wait. And with the recent announcement of the Fantastic Four cast, finally, which I'm almost still, I don't know if I believe it just yet. Like, let's see them on screen first. But all the casting rumors there, I'm super excited to see where they go with this. They need it sooner rather than later because they need something to focal on, and they've been really hit or miss lately. They said goodbye to the Guardians. Saying goodbye is not, it's just getting rid of characters. It's not bringing in anyone new. So I'm hoping that the X-Men can fill that hole. But yeah, I'm super hopeful. I mean, to touch on what Andre said about the music, I love the music. I was a little disappointed that they toned down the electric guitar in the opening, but I mean, you just give me that electric guitar riff anytime, and I'm there for it. But I do also kind of hope that they kind of branch out and go somewhere new with a new score for the X-Men. Like, kind of in the sense the way that Giacchino did with the Star Trek 09 score, where he made a completely banger of a score, but then snuck in that original Star Trek music to go along with the new and updated score. So something like that would be really cool. Make something brand new and then slip in that little guitar riff like halfway through, just to remind people we know where we came from.
You know, Mike, before I go to you, I want to play some actual footage and whatnot, everything from the episode from X-Men 97, episode 1. Here we go.
Kids here, but there are too many damn sets.
Looks like we split up. Nice place to pass a good time, eh, Shell?
Down there and one of them brushed against my skin, my power sap and touch it, leaving with a nasty hangover.
Any worthwhile man would gladly suffer your hand into that.
Thought you were gonna slice Summer's head off back there. Want to talk about it?
Let's just find this trust fund baby and get out of here, Morph.
I'm Jean Grey, humble telepath extraordinaire, and I'm having the most beautiful baby in the world with the most boring man in the world.
You don't think...
They're leaving the team, Morph. Jean's leaving.
Oh, no, I'm not going back there.
Dork, let's go. You're not safe here.
One dance, then I'll come. Promise. Beats that stuffy mansion, right?
Hey, at least they're not wasting time partying when they could be helping people.
Know it, bub. FOH ran when they saw us coming. Dropped one of their little toys, too.
Heads up!
Greetings, enemy mine. Might I induce you to a change of heart? Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful involuntary friendship.
Hey, y'all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure what the hell's going on with my camera. Give me 1 second. There we go. Anyway, sorry about that, Mike. Now, going back to you, Mike, I just wanted to play a little bit of the actual footage from the episode and whatnot, since I had it right there. What do you think? I don't want to, stick you with a question. I already threw it, 7 other people. But do you have any thoughts on your, at least, for you personally and whatnot, a tie-in with the MCU, with the X-Men in live action? And then in terms of episode 1, is there anything in particular that, really for you stood out with everything in the episode that you want to talk about?
Sure. So to your first question, which is the MCU tying the X-Men in, I just looked it up. It's been 5 years since Marvel acquired Fox. So it's time, I do like that they were patient with it and they're leaving breadcrumbs all over, the current MCU properties that the X-Men are coming. I'm glad that they're taking their time with it, because those last couple X-Men movies that Fox put out were just not good. Minus Logan, between Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, and New Mutants, all of those were not good. And it kind of just shows that you guys do not understand what you're doing with this. So if it takes a little while longer to make sure that they get it right, I'm totally fine with that. And I'm fine with these little breadcrumbs that they're leaving behind, because that just gets me more excited. And I think Deadpool is going to be a good litmus test to see if they can find a way to incorporate all this in and potentially say goodbye to the Foxverse and then forge ahead with, whatever the MCU is trying to do. So as for any additional storylines with this first episode, I think the biggest thing is that Professor X's absence is still deeply felt in this. And again, that's something that you do not get if this is just going to be a reboot, because Professor X would be up front and center with this. So just the way that they treat Cyclops, like first of all, that basketball game that they're playing, the pickup game, first of all, bravo to the costume work on that. it felt very white men can't jump. So I did definitely appreciate that. But the big thing as well is that when Wolverine and Cyclops, they're arguing and they're saying, you want to know what the worst thing about the professor being gone is? You. Like, oh, that's mean. But it also just goes to show how hurt Wolverine is by this loss and how huge of an uptaking Scott has to do in order to be the leader of this group. So I hope that Professor X's absence in this continues to kind of weigh heavily on people. And it go like that last scene at the end, like I get it. We saw it in the trailer where Magneto comes in and says the last will and testament of Charles Xavier was that he leaves everything to me, my X-Men. Like that, first of all, that was a great line, but also it's going to be a huge thing that's just going to continue. I hope that Professor X's absence continues to be felt, but not in an overwhelming way where it just feels distracting. And I think this episode perfectly encapsulates how just this is a huge loss, but this isn't going to end his vision. And I really appreciated that.
And let me just go ahead and mention, of course, that this episode is coming off of 1 year after Professor Charles Xavier left Earth with the Shi'ar. After Guy Ritchie or whatever, right? I believe it was Guy Ritchie, wasn't it? Yeah. That tried to assassinate him. Basically, that at that point, and I agree with you 100% on that. As far as I didn't see the Dark Phoenix movie, but I did see the Apocalypse film, and it was rough. Yeah. It was rough, man. Like seriously, they did Oscar Isaac dirty on that bitch. I thought, to tell you the truth,
a lot of them dirty on that one.
Yes, absolutely.
Crackhead version of like Apocalypse, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really hope that they honestly, ever since they rolled Kang out, all I keep thinking this whole time is in the back of my head is like, if we're going to revisit, we're going to see it. We already saw Rabba Tut, right? Well, Rabba Tut's right-hand man is Al-Sama Norm, right? Mm-hmm. Apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? And there's scenes right there for the fucking like a major villain of the X-Men that can still be done well. Mm-hmm. Right now, a little bit of rumor mill here. Going back over to you, Mike, and around the panel. The rumor mill has been that it's already been set, sort of the dice has already been set that not because of anything having to do with X-Men 97, but just in general, they're going to end up having Mr. Sinister be the first main villain for the live action X-Men team. Right now, it just so happens that Mr. Sinister is going to be the main villain, I guess, of season 1 of X-Men 97, right? So, what do you think about that, Mike? I love Mr. Sinister.
So I like that because I think this is an opportunity just to get somebody different in the fold. And I think that's a great way just to, because if you lead off with Magneto, I think the problem that you're going to have is you're going to have a similar situation to Loki. It's like, oh, okay, so we're going to fluctuate back and forth, but Loki got an amazing ending, and I hope that Magneto would get an amazing character arc, but he also kind of needs to be a little bit of a villain as well, and I hope that they do that at some point. Plus, the Mr. Sinister has been teased since the end of Apocalypse as well. So let's finally, let's finally bring that to live action. Never been done in live action, and he's one of the X-Men's best villains. And plus, it keeps it a little bit more grounded versus, going into space or going into like alternate dimensions and anything like that. So I think Mr. Sinister would be a great first villain for the X-Men to go up against.
What do you think, Andres? I mean, I know you love Mr. Sinister.
Yeah. Mr. Sinister is my favorite X-Men villain. I always wanted to see him in live action, and it always pissed me off that the X-Men live action movies did not do it. Unfortunately, with the Disney deal. No, I agree with Mike here. You know, he's the one character out of the X-Men Rose Gallery that haven't yet been adapted. He's also a good character because it can help the live action movies to put Scott and Jean front and center in the storyline, you know, instead of using the Dark Phoenix saga again. So, like, this is a character that you can able to use to build up a very unique story with your two X-Men characters that have been, well, let's be honest, underdeveloped. And the 13, X-Men movies, we saw them in either the prequels and the main continuity. So I think it's a good thing they're doing that and doing this first season. I'm like so excited for Mr. Sinister. They need to give him his, white skin, his costume. Like, if they're not gonna do that, I'm gonna be a disappointed kid here.
Why you gotta be talking about white skin, motherfucker? Come on now. We ain't trying to get all racial here.
Excuse me, you know how Mr. Sinister looks like.
Yeah, I'm just playing, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
anyways, I ain't worried about white skin, bro. We're all good. Anyways, I got it. You got it. We're all good, bro. And I'm also partially Hispanic. Remember, me and Andrew are brothers from another mother.
What?
Well, I'll tell you about it another time. Anyways, so what do you think, Nick? Mr. Sinister, live action. Who would you cast as Mr. Sinister?
Ooh.
That's tough. I know it's really hard.
6-7 years ago, I was.
They've been throwing Ryan Reynolds' name. They've been throwing Ryan Reynolds' name out there all for years, right? And like Nick Cage and whatnot. Nick Cage could be Mr. Sinister.
Oh, but the one that I had heard back when New Mutants was coming out was James Bond himself.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig?
No, not Daniel Craig.
No, it's Don Hamm.
Pierce Brosnan.
I heard that they talked to Daniel Craig about playing Dr. Doom.
That would be interesting. But yeah, Pierce Brosnan was in the rumor mill of having met with Hugh Jackman and I think Ryan Reynolds at one point because they wanted to bring him in for Deadpool 2, and then I guess that just fell away, never became anything. I think he's getting a little up there though at this point. So like, if we were going someone new, I think unfortunately they've already used him. But I mean, hey, never say never. Carl Urban would be a great Mr. Sinister. Like I could really see him putting. Yeah,
that's on. Hey, you know what? It's tough to be put in the spot like that, Nick. So that's a great. That's actually really a good pick. It's tough to be put in that spot like that and have to just pick somebody. And now the question is, of course, would he be live action or would they just use makeup or whatever, right? But still, I think that's a good pick.
I would hope live action. I mean, you could definitely make him up to look sinister without having to really like overly.
If he's going to be a main villain of the X-Men and be able to fight the X-Men, he's going to have to flex. So you think that they would go with the live action and all that and whatnot, Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and Sinister's cool. I've got the action figure of him just right around the corner. Like he's been one of my favorite villains because he was prominently used throughout the original X-Men runs in the cartoon show. So like, if you watched the old cartoon, you would be very familiar with Sinister, and like even the way that they brought him into like later X-Men cartoons, like X-Men Evolution, stuff like that. They always did a good job with Sinister. So like he could be a scary dude. I'm really looking forward to what they can put him up in live action, and hopefully they get a handle on their villain issue that they seem to have from time to time. So I would hate to see them turn him into a forgettable character, but yeah, the idea that he could go right up against Cyclops as the main character would be really cool.
Well, no, Andres, and then with Mr. Sinister, you're going with a villain that connects to Apocalypse, right? And it connects to the extended X-Men universe villains and whatnot, right? To where there's a lot of untapped potential there. I mean, we already know for a fact that in this season of X-Men 97, we're going to see maybe Spider-Man and Venom, right? Iceman, a bunch of cameos supposedly they're gonna have different characters coming in, right? Non-S-Men characters, S-Men characters, right, coming in during the series. Cable's gonna be coming in. I love Cable. The S-Men's extended character lineup, right, is fucking deep, bro. Andres, it's deep, bro.
No, I know that. I mean, there's so many characters. I just like. I mean,
their villains are deep.
How wild would it be if they took them to Mojo World in like the second X-Men movie?
Oh my god!
Like, let's just they've
That's
already
my point.
They introduced Shatterstar in Deadpool 2. Why not?
Nick, let's I want to let Andres espouse on this. That's my point. Is that like there's so much untapped potential if you could just break through, right, with the team, right, and then let it go, let it grow from there, and bring in the secondary X-Men characters, the ones on the bench, right? Dazzler, Kitty Pryde, whatever, whatever you want, whoever, Colossus, right? Your more secondary characters. With some alterations, though, you got to have like Rogue, right? Brought in pretty quick. I mean, I'm not trying to be an aside here, Andres, and be too long, but you have to bring in when they do drop the first X-Men team. They're going to have to like pretty quickly bring in Rogue and bring in Gambit and whatnot, bring in these characters that make X-Men 97 so great, right? The blue team lineup, right? From the late 80s, early 90s X-Men run, you know? But go ahead, Andres. What do you think? Is there not a lot of untapped potential?
Oh,
right?
No. This, I agree with you, Jeff. As Nick said before, there's like a lot of potential with Mr. Sinister, because he could be the Thanos, like for the X-Men, for building up like several films. Because remember, we have several like extended team of the mutants, like X-Force, which we didn't get payoff with Deadpool, which we can do now.
Yeah.
A new version, new mutants, like we can do that now if they do it well with the X-Men franchise. And I think there's potential there. And plus, I don't want to bring up the Dark Phoenix, but you can also, finally do properly the Dark Phoenix, and
I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, I know. I'm not keen in that, but in the Age of Apocalypse, I definitely want that to happen again because Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse, if done right, yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of untapped potential. Like I definitely, Mike, you brought up McNeil. The one thing I was happy about this show, coming back, was to see McNeil reform. That was something
Is it just me or did Magneto sound gay?
No, I wouldn't say that.
No. It's just
no.
The actor is trying to sound.
It seemed like the actor was trying to be overtly effeminate almost, or maybe he just is, or whatever, whatnot, with the character. I'm just joking about the gay thing and whatnot. Sorry about that, guys. It's a little poor taste humor, This is the bleeding edge, of course. I gotta throw a bone here to the audience.
No, it's all good. It's all good, but I think that the actor playing him is just trying to replicate a little bit of Magneto's mannerisms from the original series. So
that's true.
It sounded pretty similar to that, but I would say that as long as it just sounds pretty similar to how he originally was, I was fine with it.
That's good bounce off me with that and whatnot, Mike, because I'm telling you right now, people get so uptight sometimes about our classic things like the S-Men animated and whatnot, right? That if you even start to talk about some of the stuff that's I am going to bring it up, some of the stuff Andres that's sort of you hear on YouTube and see on YouTube about some of the messaging in the show, right? I've already had a little bit of beef in a private chat and whatnot with somebody, which I don't get into very often because I'm not much of a online person. I don't do a lot of social media, just with the content creation part, right? Like with y'all, meet y'all and whatnot. I'm not a big, sit in front of Instagram or whatever kind of person. I already got into it with somebody without a little bit about some of the messaging and whatnot on the show. I just want to enjoy it, Andres, right?
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy the show. And honestly, I go with everything wide open, but it's the X-Men. So I thought they did a great job. I'm really happy. I don't know what some of the again, I didn't see episode 2 yet, but some of the bullshit I've seen already and whatnot from some of the typical YouTubers out there, like, pushing their whole anti-woke bullshit, right? Message, crap, whatever, whatnot. There's always going to be things you're not gonna like about something. But Andres, I didn't see any heavy woke shit going on in episode 1. Did you?
No, not even episode 2 either. So
Good.
I mean, you have to understand that X-Men are very much a serious kind of franchise like Batman, but in the different kind of themes they're doing instead of psychological. This one is more and more about like prejudice and discrimination, equality. That's always been part of the X-Men franchise. If you don't know that, then you need to get used to
But it was always done with a proper due respect.
Yes, yeah, and thank God people understand that. It has to be. I want to say, and I just want to wrap up. It's been good because people understand that this is X-Men, and they know that it's all about prejudice and all that. So the whole cancel culture thing has been like kind of minor for this show, which is good compared to other MCU projects that have been so loud, like the Marvels of Ant-Man 3 or whatever.
Well, hey, there's a lot of stats. There's a lot of views and likes to be gotten out there with not everything, right? By just basically like jump on anything you can, especially if it involves anything to do with the MCU, right, Nick? Unfortunately, the X-Men animated, X-Men 97 is on Disney Plus. I say unfortunately as a joke. Again, I have no problem with Disney Plus. Thank God I get it for free through my Verizon plan. Thank you, Verizon, you son of a bitch. Charge me fucking to death every fucking month. Been with you for fucking 20-something years. Don't give a shit. Anyways, I'll save that for my private conversation with Verizon, Nick. But what do you think? A lot of untapped potential, right? I don't want to get too far. Absolutely. I don't want to get too far away from the animated zone. But in terms of where we're at with the X-Men right now, in terms of where Marvel's at right now, the MCU's at right now, what's going on with the the whole deal with the quality over quantity now and all that and whatnot, and the Iger and Feige and all that and whatnot. They're canceling projects, and it's such a time like this. They can use the lifeblood of an X-Men type team, and once you get them in there, right, Nick? There's a lot there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing the right thing. They've cleared out their schedule. They're making room so that they can fix what's not working. I heard reports that Captain America 4 is being reshot this summer because just the politicalness of it was boring. Like Captain America Winter Soldier was a fun political thriller-esque type movie, and they wanted to go back to that route, and they just didn't nail it. So now they're going back to the drawing board, and I like that. I like that they're trying new things and they're giving these things time to breathe. Because I mean, remember when movies used to be awesome? They took like 3-4 years to make.
They did.
You can't just keep pumping them out every year, every 2 years, get a sequel within 2 years because we already have that date, that May 3rd date saved. So we have to have something to put there. Like, doesn't matter if it's
Andres and I just reviewed Ghostbusters last night, the original Ghostbusters. How many years did that take, Andres? 3 years? It took them 4 years to make that movie?
Yeah, well, like...
I'm not trying to get into it, but I'm just saying.
It depends on when they greenlit it. If they greenlit it after they made the first one, which was like 2 years before the first, or I should say Afterlife, before Afterlife came out, then sure, maybe they did. But I'm willing to bet you they greenlit that last January, and they were like, and we need it out by Christmas. And it's just, oh my God, like I've never seen a movie that it was so half-baked. It was awful.
Well, Mike, what do you think, sir? The Mojo-verse. I like me some Shatterstar. I do. I won't lie. Do I think we're going to see a Shatterstar in the MCU? I don't know. But what do you think? There's a lot of untapped potential in the X-Men. Just like there is in the X-Men 97, there's a lot of untapped potential in the X-Men live action if they can just get it going.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking a look at some villains that have not been in a live action movie, and there's still a ton of them out there, but there's also a ton that have been in live action that have been not done well either. So we've already talked about Apocalypse. We haven't gotten Mojo World. We haven't gotten Omega Red. We haven't gotten a good Lady Deathstrike. Like the last thing I want, we really need to go through this Weapon X stuff through like another Colonel Williams Stryker, like 6 movies of that? Like no. We don't. There's plenty of other stories to tell, and that's kind of something that I had a bit of an issue with the Batman as well. It's like we're going back to the Riddler again, like, and although it was fine, I want to see some of these deeper cuts from X-Men and from Batman that we haven't gotten to see in live action yet. That's one of the things that makes all this stuff so exciting, and what makes people who grew up reading these and who are reading them today want to go watch them. Because we don't need constant retreads of everything like that. There's times and place for it. So I'm just excited about the possibilities. I'm excited to see like potentially like a good Sabretooth for once.
Yeah.
Like I'll take that. So there's a lot out there, and as long as we're just not constantly retreading, like Andres mentioned it, like if we get another Dark Phoenix before we get a Mojo World, we've done something wrong.
Dark Phoenix should literally be how they close out the X-Men in 20 years. Like that, they should not even touch it until it's literally an entire phase to go through like 8 movies to do the entire saga, because otherwise it's just you've done it wrong. Absolutely, Mike, you nailed it on.
Yeah.
Well, and then what? Sorry, Andres. So because one other,
go ahead, Mike, and I'll go over to Andres. Go ahead.
So one other place that this could eventually go is that one of the more prominent X-Men series that has come out lately is X-Men versus Avengers. And I think that could be interesting, if not a little too much Captain America's Civil War. But I think it could still be interesting because it'll be different stakes. So it'll be different. So I think that's potentially a possibility for one of these big crossover events. And what an interesting way to be like, okay, whose side are you really on? These X-Men who you've been waiting for a long ass time, or are you on the Avengers side, the OG crew that you've been with for, by the time that this eventually comes out, probably around 20 years of the MCU.
Yeah, we can only hope that they are not going to pull a DCEU and try and shove it all out as quickly as possible. Like I do want to, I told Mike before, I want to see the original X-Men team, Iceman, Angel, Beast, Cyclops, and Jean. I want to see them on screen together first.
Well, supposedly that's what we're going to get.
To the end. Like, the reason the Avengers worked is because they built it. You can't just jump to the end with the X-Men. You have to build it first.
You're right.
If you ever see Wolverine for like 5 years, I will be happy.
You're right. They do. And of course, we've all heard the rumors. I mean, people that y'all out in the audience and whatnot, for the most part, I would think that follow the Bleeding Edge, or follow Nick and Mike, are very aware of the rumors that have been out there in terms of them starting off with some form of the original form of X-Men team, like we saw in episode 1 of X-Men 97, that picture, right, with Beast and Angel and whatnot and everything. I hope that that's the direction they go in too. But I'm going to go to you, Andres, okay, and then over to you, Mike, and then to you, Nick. Let's rate episode 1 of X-Men 97. Let's do our first rating for our first episode. Let's do 1 to 5 instead of 1 to 10, just to make things interesting. What do you think, Andres? 1 to 5. What do you want to give episode 1?
Okay, and you don't mind? I want to
and give your Go ahead and explain why too, of course.
Yeah. And I also want to bring up the potential of the X-Men. Just briefly. I'll be very quick, Jeff. I'll give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's a great premiere. It's one of the best pilots. What a great introduction of a previous show that was ended, come back, and you got right into the universe. It gave you what X-Men should be, what X-Men 92, the M series was, in such a fresh and a very comic book faithful way, because they we haven't talked about is like the Fox. Despite I do love the Fox X-Men franchise, they're not comic book accurate. X-Men to fiction, they failed that completely. Well, except for Deadpool. Like Deadpool, somehow that franchise is like top tier, like combat. Like they nail the X-Men universe. Then really the X-Men films was so weird. I just love it. I'm very excited next week to talk about the second episode. This first episode really gave you the fun and just the enjoyment that you love about the X-Men, and then the show from the '92 was great. And briefly, I agree with you, Nick and Mike, about the untapped potential. Like, I really want to see a comic book accurate Weapon X that was run by Dr. Cornelius, because people don't know that the Stryker wasn't the person that run Weapon X. It's Cornelius. And that annoyed me in the live action movies, that they kept that going. It's like, come on. I agree with you, Mike. I wanted Sabretooth. I thought Leif Schreiber was a great Sabretooth, and it annoyed me that the Wolverine trilogy never brought him back. So yeah, that's why I just want to bring that up. Because there's a lot of thoughts that I didn't annoy me. And a new Hellfire Club. I liked them in X-Men First Class, and I was kind of sad that Emma Frost didn't get a chance to be the live action movies.
There will be a live action Emma Frost. There's too much untapped potential in that character for them to not visit that character. But Mike, your rating and reasons why for episode 1 of X-Men 97.
5 out of 5 as well. And I don't know if that is the nostalgia talking, but the fact that they were able to nail the tone of the 90s one, and the action was upgraded. The title sequence, they got the title sequence right. But something that we haven't mentioned yet is that Nick and Andres have mentioned that Cyclops was done pretty well in this. I'm looking forward to potentially a good Storm sequence as well, or storyline, because Nick, you mentioned that you're looking forward to that. I'm just looking forward to somebody getting Storm right, because Fox never did. So I'm very curious to see where it goes from there, and it's already better than anything that Fox did. And I'm not gonna lie, this is already shaping up to be pretty high up there in terms of the Disney Plus Marvel show that is probably I'm hoping is gonna be pretty high up there, competing with WandaVision for the best that Disney Plus has to offer with MCU shows.
I'm with you on WandaVision.
They need a hit, and this is shaping up to be a hit.
Although Loki season 2 and 1 was pretty solid too. What do you think, Nick? What's your rating, and then your reasons why?
Okay, I mean, it's gonna sound really weird, but like, I can't give this first episode a 5. Like, I'm hovering between 3.5.
I'm not gonna give it a 5 either. So go ahead.
And the reason that I can't give it a 5 is because I've seen episode 2, and episode 2 is a 5. But so I can't, in good conscience, give this one the same score, because the other one was just leagues ahead better. I loved this episode. It was fantastic.
So tell us all the reasons why you hated this episode, Nick.
Yeah,
tell us all the reasons why you hated it.
I love this episode, and here's why I hated it. It was pretty expositional heavy. You showed it earlier, that scene where Rogue is telling Gambit exactly what would happen if she walked through Gambit knows, Rogue. Gambit knows. You're only telling us that because you need the new audience members watching the show. But how does Rogue know that? So it's like little details like that. There's some writing issues where they kind of just say at the screen what they need the audience to hear, and it was a little clunky. But it's exactly what you need in an introduction episode. So I could give it grace, but I think I'm going to land somewhere like a 4, 3.5, 4. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, it's my least favorite episode, because they have nowhere to go but up. If episode 2, if episode 3 is better than episode 2, holy crap, I'm going to be blown away by this show. So I'm very excited.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give my rating at, I guess, probably a 3.75. Cyclops gets a 5 without question. Cyclops is a 5 in the episode, but we got 10 whole episodes, so I want to save my 4s and 5s like for episode 2, like like Nick said, and kind of save them up. But guys, thank you so much for coming on with us and whatnot and everything. Thanks for coming on and talking to MCU and talking S-Men with us. That's been animated. That's been 97. We appreciate it. We don't usually have guests all the time on the Monday shows. It's more of the Wednesday, Friday thing. So we've enjoyed it. But tell me, to do plugs, for you guys and whatnot, everything, what would you prefer I pull up? Do you want me to pull up your podcast on a certain platform or?
Yeah, we've got the podcast Geeks Speak Louder Than Nerds. That's going to be on. Is
there a certain platform you prefer? Or okay, no, I just didn't know.
No, anywhere. Hey, wherever you want to listen, we'll accept your views.
Okay, awesome. I'll tell you what. While I pull you up right now, either one of you or both of you, if you want to go ahead and just start your plugs and talk about your show, whatnot, your pod, go ahead. Feel free.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, it's called Geeks Speak Louder Than Nerds. You can reach us at geekspeaklouder@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at geekspeakloud. We're on Blue Sky and Instagram, and we just started uploading our stuff onto YouTube. Not all of it's up there just yet. We've got some copyright dings on us, but we'll be re-editing some things to get rid of some of that music that we use. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Jagged2319. Mike?
You can find me at MLHilty2452 on Instagram, Threads, I guess, Blue Sky, Serialized, which is for TV shows, and Letterboxd. So, and yeah, subscribe to Geek Speak Louder Than Nerds. We love doing the show. We're in the middle of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then we're going to be taking a look at, what's next from here. And we've talked about, doing a TV theme song bracket. We've talked about doing a lot of other stuff. So we're excited to see where this goes moving forward. So thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
No problem. We love collaborating. We're happy that y'all were here. Hopefully you'll come back and do some more Sped 97 with us. We got 9 more episodes to go. So Andres Pop Culture Guy, sir. What is going on over at Andres Pop Culture Guy Channel Presents?
All right. Well, it's funny you brought up Ghostbusters during the review. So as yesterday, me and Jeff did a live stream review of Ghostbusters, the classic 1984 film. So to honor the 40th anniversary this year, and plus the new film that came out last Friday, Frozen Empire. So thank you everyone for at least watching the live stream review. Tomorrow I'm gonna post my Ghostbusters 40th anniversary tribute and post out another X-Men comic book read part 3. And yeah, a lot more to go to wrap up March, which is crazy. We're gonna be in April soon and Saturday, so that's crazy. So thank you everyone for supporting me, and Cyber, who's another host for the MCU Bleeding Edge. Please help us reach our mark in 2024, and it'll be awesome year of awesome content. And thank you, Mike, for coming. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. You guys were awesome.
You as well.
Thanks.
There you go, folks. And support the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. Support the MCU's Bleeding Edge report by simply, of course, liking, subscribing, and most importantly, turning the notifications on our channel so that when we live and whatnot, everything, and when we put content out and whatnot, you're aware and whatnot, you can check out our shit. It's pretty much that simple. Again, just to reiterate, Andres, Nick, Mike, thank you very much. We really appreciate y'all. It was really great recording with you and live with you and whatnot. Folks out there in the audience, Rumble, X, we love you over at Facebook Live on our Facebook page. Okay, YouTube, our home base, right? I already mentioned Twitch, I think. Did I mention Twitch? We've got 2 of you on Twitch right now. There you go, the 2 of you. We appreciate all of you. All 32 of you here on YouTube, whatnot, and everything. You've been very silent, but thank you very much for joining the show. Hopefully, I imagine you wouldn't be sticking around if you didn't. And we'll see y'all later. God bless you. Peace.
'Cause I'm about that.